Come on. Let's see. Let's play without it. Notifying anybody. Let's see if this actually works. Okay, let's see if anybody comes in here. So I did this without putting anything in the... Oh wow, we're already up to 3 apparently. So, who's all in here right now? Up to 4. I did things a little differently this week. I didn't post on Facebook or TikTok that I was going to be going live this week. I've, made enough posts over the last each week that I've done this so far that I wanted to test the waters to see if I could, people would join without having to remind them that I would go live. So, so that's what I did this week. There's no mention of it on Facebook or TikTok, but I thought I would give it a shot. So who's in the chat right here? I see got a few followers, a few people watching right now. Good. Anything specifically, in regards to Titanic that anybody just want to talk about or not? Because otherwise, I've been working on my attraction. That's what I've been busy with myself here. There's, it fell off apparently, but one of the tickets that I still got a few handfuls of tickets left to do, but I'm still trying to figure out a way to be able to sell them really well, with a safe and secure website. I don't want to just like, here, send this to this address or whatever, buy a ticket. No, that's sketchy. I don't want to do that. I want a safe, secure way that you go online, you click a couple, just click a button or two, and then you order your ticket if you want one, and then you submit your payment right there, and then your payment gets sent to, either my bank or my PayPal or whatever payment method I'm using, and then it gives me your address, and then I will send you the actual ticket and the free gifts that go with that. And that's what I'm hoping for. I've got a great domain picked out for a website and everything, but making websites is not the way it used to be, man. I had a friend of mine good 20 years ago that made his own websites. He made his own websites right there at his house, and he knew how to code and do all of that stuff. And he did all of it for damn near free. Now, the domain that I have picked out is about $2,000 just for the domain name. And that's not even talking about setting up a website or any of the other stuff. Because my website, I already know what the website's going to be and how it's going to work. You go to the website, and of course, the home page is going to, have the picture of the attraction, explain what it is, what you can do, all of, normal stuff like that. But then you can go into a reserve a room section where you will see a map of the attraction, of the Titanic attraction replica ship, and then you can pick what area you want to be in, what deck you want to be on, how many beds you want, and as you select it, it'll direct you through to the areas you want to be at and everything. And then you can purchase everything right there on the website, make your payment right from the website, and then you'll get confirmation codes and everything that you can then bring into the attraction, to the ticket counter at the entrance to the attraction. And when you get to that ticket counter, you give them your confirmation code, and they will pull it up in the computer, and they will be able to, issue your physical ticket for the attraction at that point. I've also been working on memberships for the attraction. You have first, second, and third class memberships. They're annual, meaning you only pay them once a year, and they're always due on September 1st. The anniversary of the official discovery of the wreck of the Titanic. The first class membership will give you 25% off all admissions tickets, plus full access to the attraction, to all public areas of the attraction, as well as an additional 20% off all your purchases in the gift shop, as well as the online store. Then second class membership gives you 20% off all second class tickets and standard first class tickets, and then grants you access to some of the first class areas of the ship. And then you get an additional a smaller but additional discount in the gift shop and an online store. And then the third class experience will also, same way, but there's I've got it posted on Facebook. You can go over there and check it out, read the full details on that. I've also put up a mock-up, not an official design, but a mock-up of what the membership cards would look like, which they will basically just be like little credit card, little debit cards almost. They'll have the chip in them that will hold all of your information, tell you what class membership, what that membership includes, and whether or not that membership is currently paid up to date or not, or if it's expired. And then, and then when you do it, whatever, you just use that card and get your discount. But one thing I am thinking about, though, with the attraction is in the pier entrance building, separate from the actual Titanic. On the second floor, I have a whole promenade viewport kind of area where you can go out and just go up and just look out and look at the Titanic as she sits there. You just whatever. And I'm thinking about expanding that a little bit in order to put in some dining, not really dining solution, but some tables and chairs, and then put maybe some vending machines or something up there that you could maybe get a snack and sit there and look out at the Titanic and enjoy a bite to eat or a drink and just talk with friends and family or whatever, whoever's with you, any of that. But that's the ticket, that's the pier entrance itself. As I've said before on other videos and then on Facebook and everything, that, guests are not ever going to see that full building. The actual entrance area takes up less than half of that building total. It takes up not even a quarter of the first floor. Not even, even less of the second floor. And then on the third floor is nothing but just one big hallway from end to end to board. There's nothing up there on the third floor at all. Because the third floor is basically inside that peaked roof of that building and everything. So, on the one half of the building that never gets seen by guests at all, the first floor has an employee parking garage, so they don't take up the parking lot outside. But there's a parking lot in there, in the first floor. Then up on the second floor, there are actually some residential apartments that I designed into the attraction. That are, one is for myself, and there's like six others, there's 7 total. And those are not going to be open to the public. Those are for family, for friends, for maybe management employees who want to stay on site more often. Very select people. I have thought about possibly putting 1 or 2 of them up on Airbnb. Maybe. But that's neither here nor there. I've not really finalized that idea yet. But then on the second floor, aside from the apartments, at the end of the building where there's the garage door down on the first floor, and then you have that line of windows on the second floor, well, there's a promenade in there that you can go, that the people, myself and others living on that floor can go out and enjoy each other's company, look at the ship, look out over the town, get a view, just all of that. There's a small storage facility, if you will, in there for each of the apartments, so that if you have anything that doesn't fit in the apartments, you can put it in your own little storage shed. It's got its own gym and its own laundromat as well. Then the other half of the building, as I said, the first floor has the ticket counter, gift shop, a few offices, public restrooms, different things like that. The second floor is entirely employee only. The only thing on the second floor is for the public is that overlook, and the elevators that go up, actually their doors are on both sides, so that when you enter on this side on first floor, and when you go up to second floor, you can only exit on this side out to the promenade. You can't go anywhere else. And then when you go up to third floor, you'll exit on this side again. And so it's like that and everything. So, will there be tour guides? Yes, we will. Yes, there's going to be tours from the bridge, the officers' quarters, and a lot of the upper decks, and then down to C deck is where, down one whole side of C deck is going to be a whole like museum area, and there will be tours through that area of everything. And no matter what class of ticket you buy, you will get your first tour free, included in your ticket with your stay. But all tours after that, and for those not purchasing a ticket to stay on board, are going to be $19.12, which is pretty much what RMST charges for their traveling exhibits, which I have been to. I went to one when it was in Kansas City, and that's what I paid to get in there, was $19.12. So, you know, it's right on par. It's right there with competition on that part. But yes, there will be tours, all of that, and everything. Like I said, the bridge, officers' quarters. I've been, you know, I'm planning to have a meeting point somewhere within the you know, wherever, at a certain time every day for when the tour starts and everything, which I'm pretty sure is probably going to be on D deck, right there at the entrance at the elevators, because that's the most convenient spot for that. And then so that you can basically go from there, and you can go straight over, get your tour of D deck, look at the you know, the dining saloon, all of that, take a look around at the grand staircase. Then you can go up the staircase or take the elevators if you're handicapped up to C deck, to the main, you know, museum floor, if you will, which I'm pretty sure is going to be down the starboard side of the ship. Like, all of the, like, where the grand staircase is going to be normal, but once you go past that doorway into where the rooms would have been, it opens up. A lot of the rooms are going to be gone. It's going to be hollowed out into the main walls in order to allow for displays and different things. How will you get all of the artifacts of the ship to the attraction? Well, most of the things that are going to be featured in the attraction, which, you know, given hopefully everything goes well, you know, and everything, they can be, you know, brought in normal. You know, a lot of it can be built with the attraction, and other parts can be brought in just right through the doors normally. Some of, like I said, and, you know, anything that doesn't meet that area, then you're probably, of course, going to have to put it in as you get to it and build around it. So, you know, once they build the lower decks and then get up to C deck, then bring the stuff in and start building around it. But I'm not sure if we would have anything that large, because, you know, you also got to understand, while RMS Titanic Inc. has a lot of artifacts, many of them directly from the wreck, from Titanic, a lot of other stuff is actually usually reproduction. Most of the items are either so fragile or so delicate that they can't be displayed publicly. So usually a very, very good replica is made in order to put it put the replica out on display to be viewed. And of course, normally they don't tell nobody that, but that's the way a lot of museums actually work. Not just Titanic, but a lot of museums work that way. Most of what you see in museums is not real. It's usually a replica. So, you know, you gotta understand that. And this attraction here is gonna be the same way. You'll see these things, but they're most likely going to be replicas of the real thing, because the real stuff is far too delicate and fragile and rare and expensive to put at risk to the public like that. Which other pieces of the wreck would you want to see besides the big piece? Oh, I would love to see the entire wreck brought up. At least the bow section. The stern, I would love to see cleaned up. I would love to see everything loose, salvaged. See the engines salvaged, boilers, you know, cargo cranes, all of that. I'd love to see all that salvaged. But yeah, I would love to see the actual wreck salvaged. I worked on that project for several years, even more years than I worked on this attraction, actually. I've got a, what is it, 21 or 22 step process in order to raise just the bow of the Titanic. That would cost, at the time that I designed it, between $5 and $10 billion, and take just over 2 years to complete. Now, today, I could probably get that time down to just under 2 years, but the price would probably be closer to $20 billion. But yeah, I would love to see the real ship raised up and put into its own museum. I had all kinds of equipment designed just for that project. But, you know, they've brought up other stuff besides the big piece as well. The traveling exhibit that I went to in Kansas City had pieces of the hull that you could actually touch. And, you know, which of course debunks all of those people out there that say that, you know, the ship's too fragile and she would turn to dust as soon as she hit the air. We see firsthand that that's not true. The big piece has been out of the water since the 90s, and it's never turned to dust. You know, it can be raised. Well, they just raised up all the debris from the Titan submersible incident at that wreck site. So we know we can salvage stuff from that wreck. We know we can bring stuff up from that depth. It's not that hard. We have the technology. Why not pieces of the stern? Well, I said the main stern itself, the main structure, is too delicate. It's the implosion that it endured as it sank. Ripped all of the rooms, just the flow of water through the decks, and then the implosion, all of that combined just leveled all of the decks, and that's why the whole ship's kind of collapsed down now today as you see it. So the main hull, the main structure, probably couldn't be moved. That one would probably turn to dust and just fall apart if you touched it. But I'm all for taking all of the loose debris, take the engines, the cargo cranes, the you know, anything you can get a hold of off of there, cleaning the stern up. But yeah, the main stern, the structure itself is too fragile. That, and while there is the whole debate over is it a grave or not, I view the stern as that's where the vast majority of the 1,500 people that died gathered in their last moments. That is the area of the ship they fled to as they were trying to stay out of the water as much as possible. So that, for me, is the memorial marker at that site for all the people that went down. You know, I did the estimates one time, going through the numbers, and I don't remember exactly how I came up to the number, but I estimated that around 90 people estimated should have actually gone down inside the ship with the ship. You know, people like Isidore and Ida Strauss, who went back to bed. Benjamin Guggenheim, who was last seen in the Turkish baths area, in the grand staircase with his valet. He told the crew that he was dressed in his best and prepared to go down as a gentleman. and everything. And, you know, and of course, some of the third class that were locked down below, you know, in steerage and couldn't get out, all of that. That's, so yeah, I estimated about 90 people should have been on board inside the Titanic when it went down, when it sank completely. Everybody else was out on the stern or in the water, all of that at the surface. And so, yeah, that's where I got with that one. But, yeah, I said, as for salvage, I worked on that. That was actually why Titanic Truths began in the first place, honestly. I was a project manager for the American branch of a UK company that was trying to salvage it. Then we ended up having a difference of opinion, and I went my own way for a while. And I got really close. I said I had all of the equipment either picked out or designed. I had the complete, highly detailed step-by-step process on how it would be done. Everything. It was just down to funding, and it would have required government funding, and government would never have funded that. So I slowly shifted into a rebuild instead of a recover project. And then over time it developed into what the attraction is today. And honestly, with the attraction, it still amazes me how many people, even in the Titanic community, just flat out refuse to believe that it's real, that I'm actually doing this or anything. You know, and yes, the Titanic community is one of the most toxic fan-based communities I have ever been a part of. Just absolutely toxic throughout. If you don't believe the exact right thing, they will just obliterate you. But, you know, when Palmer announced his Titanic, everybody was so excited. They were ready to do it, all of that. China announced their Titanic. Everybody was so excited. They was ready to go to China to see it. And everything. And I told from the get-go, with Palmer and with China, those are never going to happen. And so far I've been proven right. Palmer's Titanic, the designers from, I think it was Denmark, they backed out in 2014. His Blue Star Line company that he had to run it, they went out in 2016, I think it was. And then China has stalled out again. China, they got to where they would build so far and then they would stop. And because they like ran out of money or something. I don't know what their economic issues are over there and why they can't afford to do it, but yeah, they don't seem to be able to build it. And from what I understand, their version of Titanic hasn't had any work done to it since back before COVID hit. I think their project, their Romantices, as they call it, a theme park, hasn't had any work done since 2019, I think it was. So, yeah. And it still amazes me, though, how many people think that the ship in China that's being built is going to be Palmer's ship. I just had a thing with a guy on Facebook the other night about that. And he swore up and down that it was Palmer's ship, and they was getting ready to set sail here within the next month or so. They was almost ready. And it's like, no, it's not. Where the Chinese Titanic is being built, it's on a river deep into rural communist China. And while theoretically it could function, the ship itself could function, it could sail, it's gonna have the boilers and the engines and all of that. Realistically, it would never fit down that river to make it out to the ocean. There are very, very tight and shallow turns on that river, and it will never make it out. Well, Titanic too. No, as I was just explaining, no, Palmer's Titanic has never even began. The designers in, I believe it was Denmark, backed out in 2014, and then his Blue Star Line company that he created to run that cruise ship, as it was going to be called, went under in, I believe it was 2016. So, and then he also faced some tax audits down there in Australia, and it was reported in the news back in like 2016 or so that he was shifting stuff related to the Titanic to some of his hotels that were outside of the audits, so they wasn't going to be seized by the Australian form of the IRS, whatever it's called down there. So yeah, he was actually in a bit of trouble at one point. And now, as I follow Palmer on Facebook, and now, yeah, he don't mention that thing at all, hardly, pretty much at all, ever. What do you think of the Titanic Honor and Glory? I'm guessing that's me. Honor and Glory project. I think they're doing amazing work with the, virtually. They've got the virtual side of it. I'm working on the realistic, real world side of it, where you can actually go into the Titanic and stay in a room and eat in the dining saloon and be on the real ship. But yeah, Honor and Glory, like I said, virtually, their work is amazing. The graphics, the image quality, all of that is just very stunning. And I'm actually hoping to be able to feature Honor and Glory's game in the VR room on board my attraction. But my only thing with Honor and Glory is we keep getting demos. It's demo after demo after demo after demo. And a lot of people I talk to in the Titanic community are all saying the same thing. Are we ever going to get the real game? Are we just going to only ever get demos? The demo 401 is the current one, the last one that they sent out, whatever. And yeah, that's all you seem to get is demos. If I was a trillionaire. Replica of the Yamato. Yeah, Yamato's a good ship. I actually had, back when I was doing model commissions, they introduced a pair of Yamato anchors as a model set. Get a big anchor and then a little smaller anchor and everything. And I actually bought a set right after they first came out, but I tweaked them and I turned them into some Titanic anchors instead, because they're very close in design. But yeah, the Yamato wasn't too bad. I said one of the guys I talked to the other night on Facebook said with the attraction, can you talk again about your project? I came late. Oh, don't be sorry, man. That's fine. Yeah, no, as I was saying, with my attraction, the first, this one is the Titanic. It's, the most notable, most historic, most famous ship ever, so it really pulls you in. But, if this attraction is successful, this one could, it could open the doors for an Olympic, a Britannic, a Lusitania, Mauritania, Andrea Doria, maybe an original Queen Mary or Queen Elizabeth, a newer version of the United States, maybe. I mean, the possibilities are endless with this one. But yeah, as I was saying with my attraction, though, it's a full scale, 882 feet 9 inches long, 92 feet 6 inches wide, and you can go in. It's built from G deck up, and you can go in and book a room. There are standard accommodations and authentic experience accommodations, as it's being called. And standard accommodations are basically like normal hotel rooms. They're styled in that Edwardian era, so they fit with the theme of the place. But the authentic experience is what it says, the authentic experience. These are a select number of rooms that are exactly as they would have been in 1912, and no modern updates, no modern conveniences, exactly as they would have been. And so, first class is on B deck. Actually takes up most of B deck, which includes the parlor suites. Then second class, I moved up to the forward end of C deck and D deck, which was originally actually first class on the real Titanic. But given a lot of the changes that had to be made to accommodate everything, they had to get moved a little bit. So those rooms technically won't be 100% as they would have been in 1912, considering they were actually first class back then. But style-wise, and everything, and looks and visuals and all of that, they will be second class, authentic. But then third class is at the aft end of D deck, all the way at the stern, just where it would have been. And the thing with third class is third class tickets for the authentic experience are sold individually, one by one, and you may end up sharing a room with a stranger in third class, just as you would have on the real Titanic. That's part of the authentic experience. But there's also a lot more requirements for the authentic experience as well. So you built it. I'm planning on building an optimized Titanic. Yeah. Yes, I said G deck at the very bottom is standard third class. Then at the forward end, there's a bowling alley, a VR room, an arcade, a spa, all different things for second and third class passengers both to do. Then F deck is second class standard and everything. And then F deck has the Turkish bath, or no, that's up on E deck. I moved that up to E deck. I forget exactly. I don't have my schematic, my floor plans pulled up here with me, so. But yeah, there's a theater on board that I added. It takes up 2 full decks, actually. That one was a tricky one to fit in. At the aft end of E, F, and G deck, all 3 of them, there are actually child care rooms. So that if you have children of any age that, the parents want to go out and just go to town and do something on their own, or go just relax somewhere else on the ship, to the Turkish baths, or just go sit up on deck and enjoy the air for a while, or whatever it may be. they can drop the kids off in these child care rooms where they can play and interact with other children and everything. So those are included with each of those decks and everything. And then the authentic experience, as I'm saying, has certain like requirements. One being, no mental or physical disabilities that may cause harm to either yourself or the attraction. So, you got, because the rooms aren't handicap accessible, so, you can't really get wheelchairs in there. It's not very handicap, it's not handicap accessible at all. And then, but mentally, like bipolarness or schizophrenia, not trying to discriminate against those type of people, those people who have those conditions, but, we don't want somebody who's going to have some sort of episode, lash out, and, damage the attraction, or end up hurting themselves at the facility. So, no mental or physical disabilities of that sort. There are no children allowed in the authentic experience. And there are no electrical devices like cell phones, computers, tablets, video cameras, all of that. None of that's allowed in the authentic experience. If any guest that books an authentic room like that, they will be required to take all of their electronic devices to the purser on C deck to be stored until they leave. And of course, if they hide any of that and sneak it into those rooms, I mean, it's not a huge deal, but there will be some, penalties and stuff. But I'm trying to keep the authentic experience just as authentic as possible. And of course, they didn't have the technology back then. They didn't have cell phones and computers and video cameras, all of that. Now, if they had video cameras, somebody probably would have filmed the sinking, and we wouldn't have all these theories and these conspiracy ideas and everything. Somebody probably would have actually filmed it, and we would have known what it looked like. But, no. Now, I'm not saying, I want to add here, I'm not saying that the authentic experience is not going to be documented. There will be documentation, photos and videos and stuff of the authentic experience for, promotional purposes, for commercials, for putting in the website, whatever. And there will probably likely be certain exceptions made, exceptions for media and for maybe like, some big named influencers from YouTube or TikTok or whatever that can help, also promote the attraction in their own way and get their followers to come in. Whatever it takes to promote the place. But, then of course there's always rentals. You can rent the attraction for birthdays, for weddings, business trips, business meetings, or filming. If you're filming, if some production company is filming a movie or a documentary on the Titanic, they can film in the in the attraction, and the authentic experience is going to be the best place to film because those are going to be the most authentic areas of the attraction. So, now, one of the things with booking the attraction for a wedding in particular is the bride and the groom, whoever's paying for the booking of the attraction anyway, it comes with a good discount on one of the parlor suites to be used as a honeymoon suite with, after the wedding. So you can actually spend your honeymoon on the Titanic, as several pairs of couples were doing actually on the board the real Titanic. So, there's that option as well. Said, I have tickets over here, as I've said many times, that are pretty much ready to go. I'm trying to find a safe, secure website method to do it. I don't want to just list them and say, here, send this, what ticket you want and the money, and send it here. No, that's sketchy. I don't want to do that. This is a real business. This has got to be done the real way, the proper way, and it needs a website. It needs, it's got to be done right. And I really wish I could get investors. I really wish I could get some big time investors to come in and everything and help do stuff. Because, as I've said, I've got a great domain picked out. TitanicTickets.com is what I'm looking at. It's not guaranteed, but that's the domain I'm looking at. But the domain itself is like $2,000. And now there's a few of the tickets that if I could sell just one ticket, it would pay for that. But the most styles of tickets available, it would take a few tickets to be able to afford that and everything. But I've got almost 2,000 tickets. I've got 1,975 tickets available to go up for sale. And if they all can sell, it will be over $2.5 million, and that will be more, and that's going to be enough to, in my area, to be able to buy the land, to hopefully get a full real website done, the permanent website, to get a commercial, some promotional material done, maybe purchase a billboard or two to advertise along the major highways, because I am right along I-70 and Highway 63 in the pretty much dead center of Missouri, where I've chose to put it. It's directly between St. Louis and Kansas City, to east and west of me. To the south, we have Lake of the Ozarks, which is a huge tourist area, and then to the north is Hannibal, Missouri, which is the birthplace of the unsinkable Molly Brown. Her birth home is actually up there, and I've actually been to that house. It's pretty cool. I've not been up there since they redid it and expanded the museum and everything, but I have been up there once. And it's real nice. Of course, Mark Twain and all that's from Hannibal, too. But Columbia also has the Mizzou Tigers, SEC college football. Homecoming weekend with that is, you can't even get around town. Our city goes from about 150 to 200,000 people to probably close to 1 million people that weekend. Hotels in the area sell out for miles. You know, so adding another almost 1,500 beds to Columbia with this attraction, homecoming weekend is going to be one of the biggest weekends for the attraction as well, because people are going to be looking to get rooms wherever they can. And trust me, they pay whatever they can too. These people, Mizzou fans, are nuts. But you've got the Children's Hospital, the Children's Miracle Network Telethon in the area, which I used to do as a child. I worked with Don Wells from Gilligan's Island on that one for a few years. We have the Roots and Blues Barbecue Festival, the True False Film Festival, concerts. We got a yearly air show out at the airport that brings people in from all over. You know, I mean, just, it's a great location for this attraction. Great potential. And I actually have 2 spots picked out. And if you actually go to Titanic Truth's Facebook, you can see I've got a post from just the other day that I did that shows both of the locations I have picked out, explains what they are, their size, and then asks to be, you know, which one fans like better. And so far they're liking the slightly bigger one, which I'm kind of on their side with on as well. Will this attraction do a haunted Halloween event? Oh, we're going to have all the holiday event. You know, of course, every holiday it's going to be decorated and all of that. And Halloween is my favorite holiday anyway, so I'm sure something will get cooked up for Halloween. Because, you know, like I said, Halloween is my absolute favorite holiday. I would celebrate Halloween all year round if I could. And half the time I do. I actually have, I think it's in the storeroom closet in here. I actually have a purple Halloween tree. Like a Christmas tree, but for Halloween. I actually have that, and I have all kinds of Halloween ornaments that go on it as well. As soon as I can get my whole workspace and everything set up the way I want, it's going to get put up and it's going to get left up. My hope is to actually put it up, have the Halloween tree, and then I want to get another small tree just like it, but like maybe in black, and then get it to where, like, you know, fans and viewers and everybody, if they want, they can send something to hang on the tree. I know a lot of content creators do that. And so, you know, if you want to send a little, make an ornament, or, you know, buy an ornament, if you either way, and then send it, you know, hopefully at some point I can do that. But one of my big things is I got to get this YouTube channel back up and going. I went through so much in the last few years that this channel really almost pretty much died. Ariana Big. Hello, got the little cat emojis. Ask you, because I got a kitty. See if I can get her over here. Come here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Come here. But yeah, there's gonna be, like I said, there's gonna be holiday events for Christmas, 4th of July, all of that. And there she is. Let's say hi to everybody. Okay, yep, lay down. But yeah. Yeah, although I'm already pretty sure with that's just the way she looks. That's just She's a Maine Coon. If you ever look them cats up, they usually look angry and bored the way she looks. That's just how they look. But back to with the attraction and holiday stuff, as I was saying though, the anniversary week during April, that I've said from the get-go is going to be the biggest week for the attraction every year. And it's one reason why I've actually considered, haven't fully decided, but I have considered the all access pass tickets that I'm offering right now. I've thought about bringing those back just during the anniversary week. Only during anniversary week. It's 5-day pass, which, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, it's, from the 10th when they set sail to when they sank, it covers that full 5 days. And I've thought about doing that. So, but I've not fully decided on that one yet. And I've also thought about doing something around September 1st as hiccup herps as well. Yes, I know you feel the air conditioner because it's hot. And I thought about doing something around September 1st as well, but I haven't really decided yet. Oh, okay, go on. And she's done. Because, and that's, of course, when the memberships will be due and have to be renewed every year. But I'm sure there will be other things as go along. You can never know 100% exactly what's going to be what, how things are going to be done, and how everything's going to work. And everything. You can never know. So, there's always going to be things you just got to figure out as they happen. So, what about September 11th? And not really going to be a big thing, That tragedy and Titanic are, two different things. They happened, let's see, almost 90 years apart, about 89 years apart, roughly. Almost 90. I mean, aside from September 11th being my uncle's birthday, but yeah, I said there's not really. I remember that day very well. I was 13, almost 14, and I was being homeschooled at the time, and I remember that day very well. I remember being outside that afternoon after my friends who lived down the road got home from school. They were still in regular school, and being outside, and we could see the fighter jets flying over because Missouri's got a lot of Air Force bases and stuff. So yeah, I remember the day very well, but yeah, I don't really think we might have little memorial, little remembrance things, special service in the D-Deck dining saloon, maybe, or whatever, but nothing big, nothing major, because it's not really connected in any way. But now, if you've seen my TikTok, then you know about my very weird connection to J. Bruce Ismay. And so, I don't know if I want to do something for that one or not. Because if you've seen that TikTok video, and if you've not, I recommend go over to Titanic Truths LLC on TikTok and follow me over there so that we can get that one up to 1,000 followers, so I can go live over there. I can actually, if we can get up to there, I could go live over there more often. I could go live over there every few days or so, not just once a week. But yeah, I made a video the other day about my connection to Ismay, J. Bruce Ismay, that he passed away on October 17th, 1937, and I was born October 17th, 1987. I was born 50 years to the day after J. Bruce Ismay passed away. Now, I am a firm believer in reincarnation. I actually hold very clear memories from my most previous past life. But do I know that I was Ismay in a past life? No. I have no ideas whether or not that's possible or not. You know, that's whatever. The only past life I know of is a NASA engineer named John Mike Clemens, who was from Alabama, and he worked on the Challenger disaster, and he was in charge of inspecting the material used to create the O-rings for the Challenger shuttle. And those were the parts that failed and caused the shuttle to you know, do what it did. And the shuttle blew up in January of 1986. I was born in October of 87, and Clemens took his own life, by gunshot in June of 86. Right about the same. Now, police reports say that it's not connected to his work, but obviously, I mean, it's right at the point in time where they would have been figuring out, those closest to NASA and to the project, to the shuttle, would have figured out why it actually exploded. And not to mention that Clemens and several other employees actually came forward to NASA and tried to delay the launch because the material was flawed and they knew it. And they did not want it to... They knew something was going to happen. They tried to get NASA to stop, to scrub the launch, so that, you know, and everything. But yes, I've always held a very, very clear memory of sitting in the house, wood panel walls, front doors over in that corner, there's a window on that wall, big console television right over here on this wall that we're watching on. A thick, not shag, but thick carpet. There's a couch over there. I'm sitting in a chair. There's a hallway that goes down to my right. And then behind me on this side is the kitchen. And hi, Maddie and Chloe. And then, and I've held that memory for years, all my life. You know, literally all of my life. I've had that exact same memory repeatedly. And within the last few years, on TikTok, I actually found the house. I found that house. It's a bunch of kids that live there now, and they're tearing the place up. But I actually found the house with exactly as I described it, with the wood panel walls, the door in that corner, the kitchen behind, the hallway that way, all of it. It was exactly as I remembered it, as I have always remembered it, even though in this life, I live in Missouri and I've never even been down towards, you know, I don't know now. I don't know if that house that the boys lived in was in Alabama, or if it was, you know, maybe like in Houston where they launched from, or Florida where they launched from, or any of that. I don't know exactly where the house was at that point. I don't remember that part. But as I said, Clemens himself was from Alabama, and his grave, I've looked up his grave online, and he's buried in his hometown down in Alabama. In this life, as you know, as much. I've never been to Alabama. I would love to go down there to where he's at and go visit his grave, just to see if I can, if I feel anything, or, if there's like, if it, whatever. But, yes, I do believe 100% in reincarnation. But, anyway, getting completely off topic there for a minute. The attraction, as I was originally saying before I diverted into that tangent, I don't know if I'm going to do anything special around October 17th for my birthday, and then again when Ismay passed away, because of that connection between the two of us. I don't know if I'll do that. But you also listen, my birthday is the 17th and my mother's is the 18th. I was literally born the day before her. Just, she was 23 and turned 24 the next day when I was born. So, that whole little group of days right there is kind of special. Kind of, kind of whatever. So, yeah. But other than that, a lot of the main Valentine's, Easter, all of the major holidays, they'll have, they'll be decorated and have things for the holidays. Figure on Easter, you could have a nice, like, ship-wide Easter egg hunt for the kids in the area or whatever. But yeah, I don't know if I actually want the Easter egg hunt to be on board the ship, or like out in the parking lot or something, or off the ship. If I did it on the ship, it'd probably just stay like up to the boat deck, up on top. Let the parents and their children wander from bow to stern, just all over that boat deck, everywhere. But yeah, I don't know yet. Like I said, there's still a lot to do with the attraction. While tickets are pretty much ready to go up for sale, there is still a lot to be done with the attraction. As I've said, I'm never going to be 100% ready. There's always going to be something that you can only figure out and do as it comes up, as you get to it. There's always going to be unplanned things that happen that you're never going to expect until it shows itself. So, we already know that one. But I said, if you're wanting more info on the attraction, I would definitely recommend following Titanic Truths on Facebook and on TikTok, and also subscribing here to YouTube as well, so that you know when I go live every Tuesday and everything. And then, of course, Titanic, the ultimate fan experience, and that's Titanic with a double N. There are two N's in Titanic for the attraction. It's It's odd, I know, but there's a whole little thing about it. But you can also look that up on Facebook and follow over there to get updates on the attraction and everything. And as soon as I can find an actual way to get these tickets up for sale properly, the link to buy them will be going on Facebook, on both of the Facebooks, Titanic Truths and the Attraction Facebook. They will be going up on there. So, yeah. Yeah, like Britannic, right? That's part of it, yes. The way Britannic required numerous upgrades in order to make her seaworthy after Titanic's sinking, from more lifeboats, more expansion joints, newer designed expansion joints. She was longer, she was wider, all of it, you know. Yet the attraction required a lot of upgrades and modifications in order to make it physically possible with today's building codes and regulations. So the double N was adopted in order to signify that and to help stand it apart from all of the other Titanic exhibits and attractions out there, and to show that she's not like anything else that's been done before. She's not like any of the other attractions and everything. So, but yes, once I can finally get these tickets listed and up for sale properly, the link to buy them will be shared on Titanic Truth's Facebook and over on the Attractions Facebook as well. So be sure to follow both of them so you know when those go live, when those will be available for sale. And I said, if you don't already follow Titanic Truths on YouTube, or well, here on YouTube, subscribe here on YouTube so you know when I go live every week. But on TikTok, go follow Titanic Truths on TikTok, because I need to get to 1,000 followers over there in order to go live over there. And because I use TikTok a lot more, if I can get to 1,000 over there, I can go live over there multiple times a week instead of just once a week. So, yeah. Be sure to follow all of those places and everything. But I think till next week, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. And I got some things to do around here, so I am going to go for now. So I will see you all next week.